You're watching Retirement Talk with Eric Kearney, Southwest Florida's retirement television. He's an author, a radio host, a fiduciary, and Southwest Florida's premier investment advisor. Here is Senior Investment Advisor Eric Kearney.
Good morning and welcome to Retirement Talk TV. My name is Cynthia DeFazio and I'm joined today by Eric Kearney. Eric is President and CEO of Retirement Wealth Advisors. Eric, good morning. How are you?
I'm great, Cynthia. How are you?
I am doing fantastic as well. It's always a pleasure to be with you, and I love listening to all of the guidance that you give the viewing audience about planning for a proper retirement, because a lot of times people procrastinate. Is that true?
That is so true. Yeah, I think that's probably the biggest enemy for a lot of people. I think maybe they get very overwhelmed and they just want to put it off.
Absolutely. Kind of like going to the doctor until you can't wait any longer and you just have to go.
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
I know. Well, I wanted to ask you, because obviously the title of our show today is Decumulation is the New Accumulation. So is decumulation actually a word, Eric?
It actually is. And
okay.
Believe it or not, there's a lot of people out there that are suffering because they assume that their advisor understands the decumulation side of retirement. But actually, in fact, they're still in an accumulation portfolio, and there is a huge difference. Mm-hmm. There's so many different dynamics that go towards income-producing portfolio, and so there's a lot of people that are realizing, once they get into retirement, is this really the right portfolio for me? So when we introduce decumulation, they're like, I've never heard that word before, Eric.
Yeah.
And then that's where we really get into the nitty-gritty of this. The frustrating thing about this industry is that there's a lot of licensed salespeople out there who really don't do financial planning, who don't do income planning, who really aren't money managers. They're relying on third-party money managers who have never even met their client to determine what their investments are. And so there's a lot of people who realize, okay, you're a pretty good marketer, but you're not really a good money manager. And that's where people are really seeking out a better quality advisor.
Sure.
And the decumulation stage is the most critical of your retirement, because now you're pulling income that may have to last 20, 25, or 30 years.
Sure.
So this is a really critical portion of that financial retirement plan that you really have to get right.
So Eric, in essence, you're in charge of paying yourself, if you will. It's almost like creating your own pension, correct?
Exactly. You couldn't put it any better way, Cynthia. It's, another word for retirement is unemployed.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
We're not getting that paycheck anymore.
Yeah.
Pensions are becoming a thing of the past. So now what our clients are relying on us for is to create a pension for them, to create a regular paycheck. And again, with low interest rates, volatile markets, pandemics, and all the stuff that's going on, people are struggling. And so this is where they're trying to find an advisor who is capable of handling their needs. And again, this year has really ripped off the camouflage from a lot of advisors' horrible capabilities.
Sure.
People are realizing, you are not capable of handling my needs.
Yeah.
And that's why, we've been busy for all of this year, because people are like, okay, enough is enough. I need an actual plan. And that's where decumulation really comes into place. Once we introduce that to the person, they realize, okay, this is something that I've been missing for a long time.
Sure.
And again, they're starting to see where that's a very critical role and how that plays a role in their portfolio.
Sure. Eric, let me ask you, how important is it to have a budget worksheet, if you will?
It's the foundation of any retirement plan.
Okay.
And there's a lot of people that will come in with very high net worth portfolios who they don't want to understand how much they want to spend.
Sure.
I'm going to be right up front with them. I will not work with you unless I know how much you're spending on an annual basis. Here's the difference between our office and a lot of other offices. When you walk in there, and let's say you have $1 million portfolio, if that advisor is so willing to take you on as a client without you doing a lot of homework, that's not a good thing.
Sure.
They're just interested in taking over your account.
Yeah.
I have refused to work with people because they don't want to do a budget, they don't want to do a financial plan, and they don't want to do a lifestyle plan. But that is what keeps us in order. That is what holds us accountable to that actual client.
Absolutely.
And so the thing is that we're doing all the hard part. We're doing all the heavy lifting. There's a lot of advisors that don't want to know how to do planning. They don't want to take the time to do it, and they're just taking over assets. That's not us.
No.
If you want a clear written financial plan and you want a strategy and you want an income strategy, it's not just a financial plan. There's a lot of things that go with it, because we always say that purpose determines placement.
Sure.
The purpose of your life is going to determine what investments we actually put you in.
Sure.
Now, a lot of people are seeing now, I just go into my advisor's office and they're like, hey, we got a great portfolio, but they're not asking, what is the purpose? What are your income needs? How much do you spend on a regular basis? What are your top 3 concerns? These are all the ingredients that have to go into that financial plan in order to understand which direction we're going into. So I call it a lifestyle expense, because nobody wants to fill out a budget.
Right, right.
But everybody wants to know, okay, how can I make sure that I can afford this lifestyle that I'm living? And I think that that's the biggest thing that people want to know.
Absolutely, because if you walk into someone's office and you just say, okay, here's my $1 million, there's no way for them to know, well, what do you need? Because it has to be personalized to that individual client that you're meeting with.
Right.
Otherwise, what do you have? You don't have a plan at all. You just have a number. So,
Can you imagine if 100 people came in the office and they all needed the exact same plan? It would be so boring.
right?
Right?
Yes.
Every individual couple or every individual that walks in the front door needs something different. And then that's what makes our job so exciting and so challenging at times too. So the thing is that there is no cookie cutter method. It is a custom built solution just for that specific client. And they're going to change. We're going to hit financial hurdles over time, and that plan is going to be able to hopefully get over that financial hurdle. And that's why that whole plan is there. So the thing is that we're putting in contingency plans. We know that things are going to change, but that's okay. We've already planned for that.
Absolutely. I want to ask you also, Eric, about sequence of returns. When someone is sitting with you and you're developing that plan for them, and then they have an income stream coming in. Let's talk a little bit about sequence of returns and how that fits into a plan.
Sequence of returns is huge, because
Okay.
if you have multiple accounts, this is the one part that I really want to concentrate on. If people have 4 accounts, Cynthia, I have heard people say, I'm going to burn through the first account. I'm going to burn through the second account. I'm going to burn through the third account, and then hopefully I have money left over in the 4th account before I die. That's unbelievable to me.
I know.
So what sequence of returns is, I want you to think about this. An airline pilot does a pre-check. He walks out to the airplane. He checks the fuel gauge. He fuels the plane. He then takes off. What this gives us is a safe and reasonable outcome because of the sequence of events. Now we take those same events and we change the order. The pilot walks out to the plane, takes off, checks the fuel gauge, and then attempts to fuel it. Same events, completely different outcome. This is the same with all of your different retirement accounts.
Sure.
When somebody says, Eric, we just had a client that said, Eric, I need $30,000 for to get dental work. And I was blown away by that number, because we're taking out income for this person on a regular basis. Now we need another $30,000. We're going into the accounts and we're seeing where we can pull it from, so it's not going to change the dynamics of the portfolio. This is where a real money manager steps in and says, okay, how can we pull from appreciated assets, not depreciated assets? And so the thing is that by the time we pulled out the $30,000 for the dental work, the rest of the portfolio, it really never looked like we took anything out from there.
Okay.
Because it eventually replenished itself, and it was perfect.
That's nice, yeah.
But we have seen, again, people depleting accounts, and I'm like, no, you got to stop.
Yeah.
You really need a sequence of returns, and this is, again, just a small strategy within multiple strategies that we're building for people. These are the missing parts that a lot of people don't have.
Sure.
And they don't have a plan. They don't have a lifestyle income plan. They have no way to hold that advisor accountable. And that's the disturbing part about this business.
Absolutely. Well, Eric, we're about ready to open up the phone lines for the very first time this week. Can you tell the viewing audience what they can expect to receive today by calling in?
Sure, Cynthia.
Okay.
So today we're going to give you a great opportunity. If you're looking for a second opinion or you've never had a financial plan built for you, give us a call today. We're going to take the next 10 callers who are serious about that financial plan. This is a great opportunity for you. What this will consist of is we're going to run all the reports for you. The fee report, the Morningstar reports, a tax analysis, maybe even a volatility analysis. Let's see where it takes you. Let's see where that plan leads you. Let's get you reacquainted with your portfolio, and again, without any obligation. If you're interested in your own retirement income plan, we'll show you proven strategies and techniques to turbocharge your retirement income. In short, we're going to take all the guesswork out of financial planning, so give us a call today, 1-800-779-1942.
Eric, thank you so much. To the viewing audience at home, the phone lines are now open. Once again, that number to call is 800-779-1942. You only get one chance to retire, so let's make sure you're doing it right. Eric can help guide you in the right direction. Again, the phone lines are now open. We have to take a very short commercial break, but when we come back, we're going to have more questions and answers for Eric about planning your perfect retirement. Please stay tuned.
What does your retirement look like? Is it filled with travel, spending time with family, uninterrupted rounds at the golf course? Or are you too worried to even think about your hopes and dreams?
Questions about your retirement are normal. So come into our office, sit down with us, and let us help you find those answers.
Eric and his team can answer your questions with a complimentary review of your retirement and income plan, and it all starts with getting to know you.
We specialize in helping people just like you prepare for the retirement that they've always dreamed of.
They'll do exactly that by going over your current strategy to expose the weaknesses that may exist in your retirement portfolio. Plus, they'll explain potential risks and possible strategies to you in easy-to-understand terms and help get you reacquainted with your portfolio and income strategy.
What I enjoy most about retirement planning is sitting down with you and having real conversations about your retirement dreams and goals.
Once they understand your retirement goals, objectives, and dreams, they'll work to custom build a retirement plan to help ensure that you cannot outlive your income in retirement.
Retirement doesn't have to be scary. Let us help you retire confidently.
Because every dream needs a plan. Call Eric today and schedule your visit. You only retire once, so let's get it right the first time.
And welcome back to Retirement Talk TV. My name is Cynthia DeFazio. I'm joined today by Eric Kearney, and Eric is the president and CEO of Retirement Wealth Advisors. And Eric, talking a lot about the important word decumulation. I love talking about that. And also something that you mentioned earlier before we went to commercial break, what I find to be scary is if someone is burning through one account and then the next and the next, no one has any idea how long they have to live. And
Right.
as a whole, we are living longer. So if you start depleting those accounts, it's a natural idea that, yes, you're going to run out of money. So thank you for talking about that.
Sure. You know, the thing is, Cynthia, we have saved a lot of people. And the thing is that there was a person up in the Punta Gorda area who came in and just said, here's my account. This is the income that I'm taking. And what we saw was she was actually bleeding right through this account. And when I started going through this account with her, I look at her and I said, do you realize? And she goes, yeah, Eric, I'll stop you right there. I realize I'm going right through this account. And the thing is that the advisor was not paying attention to the rate of return. And the rate of return was so poor that it wasn't even keeping up with her withdrawals, nor was it keeping up with inflation.
Wow.
And so you could just see where she was hemorrhaging through that. So I immediately turned off that account, and then I said, let's start pulling out income from this account. And what we did was we actually made it a little bit more equity driven, but more importantly, we changed the asset allocation.
Okay.
The portfolio was so out of date, it was so riddled with fees that she didn't know about that. She's like, I just trusted my advisor. The interesting thing is, within 2 years, that portfolio took on a life of its own. It looked completely different. The account that I shut off had regrown back to normal. That at that point, we could do some more things with it. And now she's going to be just fine in retirement. But it's not like you can take over a portfolio, make changes overnight, and that portfolio is going to be good. You have to keep tweaking that portfolio as you go on. It's not a set it and forget it. There's no more set it and forget it. So the thing is that you have so many dynamics in this world that are changing with volatility, markets, political risk, everything, that you constantly have missiles being fired at us, and we've got to put out all these fires. So the thing is that, again, you've got to strategize, you've got to come up with an asset allocation, you have to work with a real money manager who understands the dynamics of a portfolio and really put together a plan, because you've got to keep tweaking things all throughout the year. And there's a lot of people that are realizing this year there's no communication with their advisor. They haven't heard from them, they're hiding underneath their desk, they're not allowed to go into their office. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because we still have to pay bills. We're still in retirement. And so we're hearing that a lot of companies are not allowing their advisors to see clients in their offices, even still. We're in fall right now, and they're still not allowed to go into their office.
You can still do Zoom, though.
You can still do
so
Zoom.
That's not really an excuse.
There's no excuse at all. I don't care if I'm in Italy. I don't care if I'm in Mexico. You have a phone, you have a laptop, you can communicate anywhere in the world. But there's a lot of advisors who are just missing the boat, and that's where people are really leaving their advisors and really going to someone who's really going to take care of them.
Well, Eric, I think you also just mentioned something as you were speaking about the lady who trusted her advisor. I think it's important to talk about the fact that you are a fiduciary. And if someone is just tuning in for the very first time and they're watching you for the very first time ever, can you explain what that is and why that sets you apart from so many different advisors?
Absolutely. So being a fiduciary I take a lot of pride in this, because by law and license, we have to put the client's best interest first. We take over a lot of accounts from big box stores that have proprietary products. They have their own mutual funds. They have their own products. Those advisors are not fiduciaries. When they're actually pushing their own company's products, remember, the underlying company is profiting from that. So it's not in your best interest, it's actually in their best interest. We don't have to push any products like that. We're actually more interested in a process more than selling you products. And here's the interesting thing about that. There's two dynamics that happen when there's a first meeting. When you meet with a broker, right, not a financial planner, but you're walking in with a broker, the client is walking into the meeting expecting to have an asset allocation built for them, expecting to have their problems and solutions solved. That's what they want. They want to know that they're going to be okay in retirement. So the client is walking into the meeting with those needs on their mind. The broker's coming to the meeting with a whole line of products, hoping that he's going to meet quota. Think about that, right?
That's scary.
And people don't understand the difference a lot of times. They think, well, they're a financial advisor. Yeah, but are they a fiduciary or are they not a fiduciary? So the biggest thing is that being independent, I will never not be independent. I will never not be a fiduciary, because we take that responsibility very seriously. And also people hold us up to a higher regard. That's where we're taking on people that are very serious about financial planning, and they actually want that. Were you sold a product, or were you provided with a solution? That's what we ask a lot of people. And there's a lot of people that will kind of sit back in their chair in the conference room and they're like, Eric, we were just sold a product. Right?
Absolutely. Well, Eric, obviously you care so deeply about all of your clients, and we've heard that time and time again from the people that have met you and have talked with you on the phone or even over Zoom, that you have given them uninterrupted quality time, that you don't make them feel like you're rushing into the next office, like you take the time that's needed, and so many people don't do that. So it's a testimonial to you.
Thank you.
I wanted to talk to you a little bit as well about putting together, of course, that proper retirement plan. How important is it, Eric, to have a tax strategy in place?
Oh, it's huge. So the bottom line is that 55% of high net worth investors value tax planning over a higher rate of return. So what a lot of people are seeing right now is, Eric, I'm in a highly taxable situation. And when they come to their first meeting, I always question them, why didn't your current advisor tell you 10 or 15 years ago, oh, by the way, you're going to be in a highly taxable situation? So there's a lot of people that are coming into our office strictly for tax planning because the taxes are getting out of hand. Now all of a sudden you have the Secure Act coming in, which is going to put everyone in a highly taxable situation, especially the beneficiaries of all these baby boomers IRAs. So this is a bipartisan agreement. I don't get political. I couldn't care less about politics. I have to manage money according to who's in the White House. But people can be as mad about the Secure Act, and you can't blame either side. This was a bipartisan agreement. And I agree with a lot of people out there. This is going to be the largest tax grab in history. This is where tax planning has become on the forefront and a huge deal right now, because people say, I don't want to give my money away. And this is basically how they're going to support Social Security in the future. The interesting thing is that when the government needs money, they're going to figure out how much money they actually need. And at that point, then they're going to say, how much do we tax the baby boomers? Because what they're doing is they're looking for piles of money out there. And how do we tax those piles of money? The baby boomers have trillions and trillions of dollars in savings.
Sure.
And so they're like, well, I guess when it goes to the beneficiary, we're going to tax the hell out of that. And that's how they're going to fund it. So there's a lot of my clients that say, Eric, I don't want to be a part of that. Let's commit to tax planning. And again, if you are an up-and-coming affluent investor, make sure that your advisor is mentioning tax planning.
Sure.
Because all of a sudden, people, when they get into their retirement, it's their taxes that are their biggest debt.
Oh, yeah.
They constantly have that tax situation. So the thing is that, again, shame on the investor that never mentioned tax planning 10 or 15 years ago. And here's the other issue that I have. There's a lot of firms out there that don't know how to do tax planning. There's a lot of firms out there who don't want the liability of doing tax planning. And there's a lot of firms out there who don't have the software or the know-how to even start to do tax planning. So again, there's a lot of investors out there who assume that their advisor is capable of handling a plethora of their needs, and that's not always the case.
Absolutely. Well, Eric, we're about ready to take another commercial break to open up the phone lines to the viewing audience. Can you tell them what they can expect to receive by calling in
Absolutely,
today?
Cynthia. So thanks everybody out there for watching, and you can see how passionate we are about what we do. If you've never had a full financial plan written, give us a call today. If you're looking for a second opinion, there's a lot of people out there that are struggling right now. Give us a call today. This is a great opportunity for you. And what this will consist of is we're going to write a financial plan for you. It's valued at over $1,000. We're going to give it away complimentary, no obligation today. What this will consist of is we're going to run all the reports. We're going to run the fee report, the Morningstar reports, a tax analysis, maybe even a volatility analysis. Let's see where it takes you. Let's see where that plan leads you. Let's get you reacquainted with your portfolio, and again, without any obligation. If you're interested in your very own income plan, we'll show you proven strategies and techniques to turbocharge your retirement income. In short, we're going to take all the guesswork out of financial planning, so give us a call today, 1-800-779-1942.
Eric, thank you so much. That's an unbelievable value. To the viewing audience at home, the phone lines are now open. The number to call once again is 800-779-1942. We realize in the past the phone lines have been busy, so we've added an additional phone line this week for your convenience. The number to call once again is 800-779-1942. We know you have a lot of questions about planning your perfect retirement. When we come back, we're going to have more questions and answers with Eric to make sure that you can retire comfortably and with peace of mind. Please stay tuned.
What does your retirement look like? Is it filled with travel, spending time with family, or are you too worried to even think about your hopes and dreams? Eric and his team can answer your questions with a complimentary review of your retirement and income plan, and it all starts with getting to know you. Because every dream needs a plan. Call Eric today and schedule your visit. You only retire once, so let's get it right the first time.
And welcome back to Retirement Talk Television. My name is Cynthia DeFazio. I'm joined today by Eric Kearney, and Eric is the president and CEO of Retirement Wealth Advisors. Eric, a great show that we're having today, and just in an effort to save time, I want to just jump in and ask you a very important question. Do you know what it is? You don't know, do you?
I don't know, no.
It's a mystery.
Hit me.
How important is it to understand market volatility, especially considering the year that we just had with 2020 and COVID-19? How important is that in your opinion?
I think it's everything, and I think what's happening is that when a prospective client comes into my office, when I tell you in our offer that we're running all the reports for you, the volatility report, I say it all the time on my radio show and in here, so I can say it in my sleep, but we're running all these reports. You will know more about your portfolio than ever before, but the one thing that we're showing people, Cynthia, is how much risk do you have? How much volatility do you have? How are you performing against the benchmarks? And people take a look at this and they realize there's a lot of inner dynamics that go on to building a better portfolio. And this is where being a money manager, when you can explain alpha, beta, standard deviation, all these numbers, people are like, those are overwhelming. Not really. Standard deviation is just a big word for volatility, right? So if you go to a Christmas party coming up, you say, hey, do you know your standard deviation? People are going to think, oh, you know, they're really smart. It's just a big word for I have a lot of volatility in my portfolio. Our job as a money manager is anytime that we sit down with a client, I don't know what your rate of return is going to be next year, but here's what I do know. What I'm attempting to do is lower your risk, lower your volatility, and hopefully smoothing out that overall rate of return. Everyone thinks that your rate of return is so important. Your rate of return is just a byproduct of the clean ingredients that go into that portfolio. And I always use the brownie analogy because I like brownies. So, but if you really want to make an end result of a delicious brownie, you want to use better ingredients.
Sure.
And so the thing is that it's no different with your portfolio. You can have somebody who really doesn't understand how to manage money and you're just going to wing it in retirement, or you're going to work with a money manager and they're actually going to put better ingredients into that portfolio to get that byproduct of that actual rate of return. So the thing is that our clients want to understand all the dynamics, all the inner dynamics. Eric, what are you doing through me or for me through my portfolio to get me through this tumultuous time?
Yeah.
And then when we get through, we actually have a pretty good year. They're like, wow, I really see how my alpha was strong. I really see how my beta was low, which is another word for risk. I really see how my Sharpe ratio was very good compared to the indexes. People understand these numbers. And it also holds us accountable to that advisor.
Sure.
And I think that accountability in this business is huge.
Absolutely it is. And I also want to ask you a little bit, Eric, about planning for healthcare costs in retirement. I mean, that actually would fall really well in line with a true cohesive retirement plan, correct?
Right. People want to know, if I get sick, how do I pay for it? What is the best care that I want? The thing that I never found funny since day one is when people say, I don't want to be living in the basement of a retirement home. There's nothing funny about that whatsoever.
Right.
So we plan in every single plan for that.
Absolutely. Well, Eric, I can't believe that we only have about 45 seconds left of the show. Can you tell the viewing audience what they can expect one more time by calling in?
Absolutely, Cynthia. Give us a call today. This is your last chance. We'll create that full-blown written financial plan. Again, if you're interested in a full income plan, we'll run all the reports for you. Give us a call today, 1-800-779-1942. Let's get this plan together for you.
Thank you, Eric. To the viewers at home, thank you so much for spending time with us again this week. The number to call is 800-779-1942. Remember, you only get one chance to retire correctly. Make sure you get it right. Eric can help you. Thank you for watching. Be safe, be happy, be blessed.